So we have to start here, in my opinion, because this is what we do with every NBA champion or really any champion of a sport ever, right? Which is that immediate first couple days, first week, we want to talk about them in this very hyperbole sense. Are they the greatest team ever? Is this the greatest season ever? Is this the greatest whatever? It's just something is always got to be the greatest, the biggest, the best. We very rarely just, take the season that we just saw and just go, you know what? Let's just appreciate the moment. We got to up it. We have to make it seem like it's the biggest event to ever happen of all time, right? So the Thunder, who every advanced metric is going to tell you this is one of the greatest seasons, one of the greatest teams ever, discussed yesterday on Hard Right. I don't believe people actually view this team this way, even though all the numbers and all the metrics are going to say this is one of the most dominant teams of all time. Now, in the NFL, we have a bunch of, because of the nature of winning Super Bowls, there's only a handful of guys who have ever won multiple. We champion individual seasons a lot more. The Saints, ask a Saints fan. They know the year they won the Super Bowl, and that team is special to them the one year they won. Drew Brees was there for over a decade, but that Super Bowl team, excuse me, that's special to them, right? You go look at the Eagles before they won this last Super Bowl. That Nick Foles-led team, the year Carson Wentz almost won MVP, that's a special team. It's a one-off. It gets a little more cloudy with the guys who have won multiple. Manning, take your 2 years, whichever Super Bowl you want to think. Brady, obviously, there's 7 of them. Montana, there's 4 teams you could choose from. But we value the one-off more in the NFL, just because there's only a handful of guys who ever won more. Same in Major League Baseball. I feel like there is one-off champions. Royals fans remember their World Series. It's a very near and dear team. It's a one-off team, only won one title, but it means more in these other sports. And those teams can also be elevated. Go back to the NFL. The 85 Bears are celebrated across the sport. It's a one-off championship. Team only won one title. Walter Payton, the fridge, the great defense, all that stuff. We don't do that in the NBA nearly the same. I want to say the 83 Sixers are the one exception, and maybe the 04 Pistons, as far as teams that we champion as a one-off. And in case of the 04 Pistons, we really champion them because of the opponent, not because of what they did. We don't go, oh my gosh, yes, we respect that team. It was amazing what they did, but it's because of who they beat, Kobe and Shaq, that we elevated them in terms of one-off champion. So the Thunder, even though all the metrics say this is one of the greatest seasons ever, this is one of the greatest teams ever, we're not really going to put them in the class of greatest teams ever unless you win multiple. And this is just the reality of the NBA. The greatest teams in NBA history, you have the Showtime Lakers, you got Jordan's Bulls, you got Kobe Shaq Lakers. I think the Heatles should be in there, especially the team that won 27 straight games. I think the KD Steph Warriors are obviously in there. But what do all those teams have in common? They won multiple titles. They weren't really considered greatest team ever until they started becoming a dynasty and started stacking multiple championships. Because ask yourself as a fan, what's the greatest Lakers team ever? What individual year are you going to say, you know what? That's the year. Is it the 86 Lakers? Is it the 83 Lakers? Is it the 92 Bulls? Is it the 97 Bulls? Is it the 01 Lakers, the 02 Lakers? Is it the 2012 Heat? Or is it the 2013 Heat? Is it the 2017 Warriors? Ask yourself, we don't really in the NBA isolate an individual season and say that's the greatest. They're the best. We don't even start putting you in that conversation until you've won multiple championships, until you have basically already become a dynasty. That's when we put you in the consideration of, okay, you're one of the greatest teams ever. That's when we start to really, really acknowledge you. So until you get to that point, Oklahoma City, because we're not, and this is the reality, and it sounds crazy to think of, we're not going to look back in 10 to 15 years if this team only wins a title, because I don't believe, with all due respect, again, to SGA, I don't think he is that level of player. And this is, again, it's so hard when you try to do this. The top 10 only can have 10 guys, right? The top 20 can only have 20 guys. So when you start saying, well, I don't think he's that player, when you're comparing him to a guy that you believe is a top 15, top 20 player of all time, it's like, it's not really a dig. We just only have, there's just only 10 spots available. There's only 20 spots available. So SGA to me is not in the consideration yet of where I think Jokic and Giannis have put themselves, which is those guys are top 20 consideration guys. So we're going to maybe look back on their teams only in the sense of, well, we felt like they should have won more. Obviously with LeBron, Kobe, Durant, like those guys, they were expected to win multiple championships. I don't think that's the expectation for SGA as things currently stand. So if you go and look at this team, I think it's going to be, you know, Kawhi's story in 2019 was as incredible as you can do it. I don't think we really think about the 2019 Raptors. I think the Warriors, their most one-off title is that last title of their championship, but because it's attached to a dynasty, that's when we're really going to go back and think of them. So the Thunder had an amazing season, again, by every metric. I don't believe, and I said this yesterday, I don't believe because of how we view SGA, we don't view him the same way as some of these other guys, that there's not this expectation to continue winning, and that's why we don't feel like it's most dominant. But there's also the fact of we never give one-off teams in the NBA the respect of, are you in consideration for the greatest team ever? We also, and we're going to do this one day during the offseason, we're going to really break down, like, who is the best one-off champions, because we're now in this era, might do this next week even, the era of one-off 7 consecutive different champions. Do it next week where we talk about, we're ranking who is the best one-off champion of all time. A little fun exercise for you. But again, shout out to the Thunder. They deserve all the success in the world. They deserve all the praise in the world. But to really elevate them into that next tier, the way it's always worked in the NBA is you're going to have to win multiple. It's just the reality of it. Now to the scarier side of basketball. So in Major League Baseball, Achilles or Tommy John surgery is just kind of expected at this point, unfortunately. As guys started to throw harder, as guys started to throw more, start to learn from a younger age, elbows just give out. It's the reality of the human body. Most elite level athletes, as great of shape as they are in, playing these sports at the highest level, require the kind of motion that the human body just doesn't want to deal with, right? I'm 6'9". There's things I have to be more considerate of versus someone who's only 6 feet tall, someone who's 5'10", 5'11", and that is my joints and my back. Those are just things that are very common to go out on tall people, because being tall, especially extremely tall, is just not natural. It's not. The human body was not meant to be this tall, this big, and move around at all. And I'm not even playing high-end athletics or high-end sports. So in baseball, it's just ingrained into the culture and almost ingrained into the fabric of team construction that, hey, we're going to lose somebody this year to Tommy John surgery because the human body's not meant to put that much torque on its elbow and its shoulder to throw 93, 95, 100 plus miles an hour. And so when we see Tommy John now, as unfortunate as it is, and I don't want to put this on anyone's name, if so-and-so goes out with Tommy John surgery, there's not a whole lot of shock. There's some disappointment from the individual fan base, but there's not a whole lot of shock. And baseball has found a way to endure and accept the reality of more hard-throwing pitchers, more Tommy John surgeries, etc., etc. Well, basketball's starting to have a really bad trend with Achilles. And that is because, and I'm not a doctor, but the simplest way of putting it, obviously what we just saw with Tyrese Halliburton in the finals, what we saw with Dame, what we saw with Jason Tatum is as certain muscles in your body start to give out, they don't give out, you don't actually realize when they give out or the exact moment they give out. And because your body is designed in a way where if one muscle group isn't working correctly, another muscle group compensates for it, and you just go down the line until one gives out on itself, and that's what creates strains, and that's what creates tears, in just simplest form. So as you have these guys, these guys that go on these deep playoff runs. Tatum, he played Eastern Conference, NBA Finals, Eastern Conference Finals, NBA Finals, Olympics, playing back to defend his championship. His body, that's just a lot of basketball to be played, and eventually his hamstring and then his Achilles gave out. Now we don't have Jason Tatum next year. Dame Lillard, same thing, aggravated himself, really shouldn't have came back earlier, wasn't ready for it, boom, Achilles is gone. Similar to Kevin Durant with the Warriors. When he was hurt, probably shouldn't have been playing, not even saying probably shouldn't have been playing, should not have been playing, came back earlier than he wanted, and boom, Achilles out for a season. The end, and then obviously in the finals, Tyrese Halliburton, hamstring, wanted to play. I get it. I totally understand the decision from his part, but body couldn't handle it. Boom, Achilles, and here we are. And we're going to see how the NBA handles this. This isn't really a how they should or, oh, I have the answer for them. But the same way baseball has learned to just kind of accept and build around the fact of we're just going to lose X amount of high-end starting pitchers throughout the season and throughout seasons due to Tommy John, the NBA has an Achilles problem. And they've got to figure something about it because all those guys who just got hurt, the three current ones, Dame, Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, that's all in the East. The East right now is in a weird, I don't think it's as open as people think, but it's in a really weird state. Because what happens if Jalen Brunson or Donovan Mitchell get hurt? The Sixers are already hurt. Like the Cavs and the Knicks are the two should be favorites because of all these injuries. You know, not everyone's going to have LeBron or Giannis's body where it just seems like they just tank everything and they don't suffer these injuries. Not everybody does that because not everyone puts that level of time and dedication. And again, you're nitpicking here. These guys are all better athletes than me. These guys are all in way better shape than me. But the reality is, NBA, we got a problem. Like, we have a problem. And it's up to the NBA to learn how to fix it and learn how to deal with it.